As the Macedonians say, Nastravia.
Nastravia.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
And welcome again.
Thank you very much again.
This time without technical difficulties. Are we good to go? All good? Yeah, excellent. Welcome to the podcast. And also thank you for some motivation. I think I told you the other day that I haven't done one of these podcasts for a while. So this has been really motivating to get me back into it. So thanks for that, man.
Again, you're welcome, I guess. I just wanted to be real for a sec, to kind of show people that doing stuff, it's not easy like your Instagram tells you it is.
Well, that's why we're here, to talk about this whole journey, how you got here, and maybe a little bit about your life when you were a little bit younger and those kinds of things. But before we get into that, I do want you to take me back to the day of when you first thought, fuck, I want to make this Open Hoist, this thing, a real thing. Take me back to when that thought entered your head.
Well, it was never really this grand. At the beginning, it was inspired by actually another business, Full Boost Garage, where I needed to do a clutch on my 86, which is now gone. Mm-hmm. And there was no way I was going to do a clutch on the ground. So getting a gearbox out, and maybe if I was, younger, or like more
cold concrete.
Yeah, it's just shit. Oh. It's just shit. So, and then you got to send off the clutch to get machined, or the flywheel to get machined, and blah, blah, blah. So I was looking around like, oh, surely there's like a rent-a-hoist kind of deal. And lo and behold, there was in Thomastown. There was one that opened up fairly recently, and they did by the hour hoist hire. And I remember we were there, and I looked at my dad, and I was like, fuck, this is a sick idea. This is grouse. So that was kind of like where it started. And then I ran it past my girlfriend, and she went like, well, that's not very good because it's not very sustainable. You can only, earn a certain amount of money. And I'm like, yeah, but money's not really the point. It's just the concept of it.
Right.
But then there was, I looked into it, and then there's the insurance overheads, and it's just, they were paying through the arse for insurance because, again, you've got these, hobbyists, and, we good on them for actually working on their cars. I completely encourage it. But as a business perspective, it's really, really dangerous because you can go under very quickly.
Sure.
So, if you want to get the car on the hoist, they have to do it for you. And then they have to raise it up for you, and then lock it, and then raise it down for you. And fair enough, because it is heavy machinery, and you got to be careful about it. But and then I kind of put the idea on the back burner for a little while. And it was always in the back of my mind as like, every now and then I'd just be sitting to myself, just like, yeah, I wonder what I could do there. And then I kind of thought, wait a minute. I remember a conversation I had with the bloke at Full Boost, and he's like, oh, you guys are mechanics? Don't worry about it. And kind of just threw his hand up, was like, you guys are fine, don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute. Obviously that means that, any responsibility would be on us because, we should know better. If we overload a hoist or do it wrong, that's our fault.
You guys have the training as well.
Exactly.
Like, when it's going to be dangerous. Or,
exactly right. And exactly right. It's not like I'm just a random person on the street decides to put the hoist up and goes, ooh, it fell off. If a hoist falls off, that's on me. That's my fault. And I was like, okay, well, what if I was to hire out hoists to mechanics? And then, yes, the insurance was a lot cheaper, like by far a lot cheaper. But I was still, again, capped at like a certain amount that I could go per year. And I wanted to expand and build multiple to kind of support the trade a little bit. But and then it just kind of came to this kind of conclusion where I'm like, you know what? What if I was to do Open Hoist? I hadn't even had a name yet. It was just, I'll get a hoist, I supply all the tools, everything that they need to actually get back on the tools again. Even mechanics coming back into the trade. Anyone that's kind of just doing cashiers on the floor that have just left the trade and gone, fuck it, mechanics isn't worth it anymore. There's just no money in it. And it's absolutely true because it's not, like I made a post about it recently about how the boss always ends up, or the owner of the shop ends up being the one who takes home the bread. He's always driving a new car and going overseas and going on holiday. And that's fine, all good and well. You've earned it, but it doesn't exactly justify the pay, that the unequal pay between the mechanical trade and him and most owners.
That's the thing, right? Like, and I think you said this the other day when we were chatting, when people are just getting into the trade as well, the pay disparity compared to somebody, who owns a shop.
Correct.
Is just, it's quite big. And
Correct.
I feel like that's a part of the I guess we call it a problem, but a part of the reason why there are people not coming into it as much, because they're like, man, why am I going to do this?
Why am I busting my ass?
Especially on new cars, I'm going to be cutting my hands up.
Yeah.
I'm going to be having to work on shit that's really annoying. It's not designed to be serviceable.
And technically, you're not even supposed to be working on half those cars. All these, like when hybrids were first coming in, you had to actually come in and get like a safety training to accredit you to be able to work on these cars. And it was just as simple as, if it's orange, don't touch it.
Sure.
But you needed a technician that was trained to tell you that if it's orange, don't touch it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've looked inside of a hybrid car, but there's just this massive
Man, I used to work at Tesla.
Well, there you go.
Orange everywhere.
Orange everywhere. If it's orange, you don't touch it. I was like, okay, well, it's got an oil cap on this tiny 1 litre or 1.3 litre. That's the only half that I can touch.
Yeah.
It's just silly. And then you've got, modern, like even more modern cars where you can't actually even access the ECU software unless you go directly to the dealership, and it becomes all this red tape.
Yeah.
And again, it's just manufacturers trying to make it harder for mechanics to work on their cars, forcing them to go back to the dealerships, which is why what I believe truly why the cost of servicing and things are just increasing just exponentially, because if they can't take it there, then the pool of customers becomes smaller. The ones that aren't driving brand new cars with 7-year service history or 7-year service fixed price. That customer base gets smaller, which means it becomes even more competitive amongst these shops. And then they start overcharging to kind of keep up with each other. And then the customer will get overcharged. They'll go somewhere else. And then that shop will say, oh yeah, these guys they overcharged you. Don't worry, I'll take care of you.
Yeah.
It just becomes this kind of fucking Ouroboros where they just kind of just over and over again. And then that person will leave, and then that they'll eventually buy a new car, and then the customer base gets smaller again.
Right.
So going back to the reason why this happened, it's like, because the mechanics will essentially be able to bring in work that they source, and B, bringing customers via Open Hoist, because the shop will look like any other shop and will function like any other shop. Obviously I'll be advertising and I'll be preaching on social media and things like that, which is again a massive help over a lot of other mechanical shops which don't have that kind of influence, I guess. Right. So there's always going to be food at the table, and it means that the mechanics can come and go as they please. If they have 4 hours or 5 hours, they can only spend a couple hours a day working on a car. They can do a couple of cars and then keep a large majority of the work of the amount at the end.
Well, so let's pretend I'm one of those mechanics who's looking for a space.
Yeah.
What can I expect when I come chat to you? What can I expect the experience to be like, and what's it like in the shop for them?
Look, first and foremost, I want pride. That's the one thing that I really, really want. You hear it time and time again. It's like, oh, my mechanic shop, it's a shithole. It looks bad. It's greasy. It's dirty. It's cold. Blah blah blah. And I just wanted it to be one of those things where you walk in, you go, fuck, like you're proud, you're excited to get to work and get back into it again. So, if you were to rock up and say, I'm a new guy here, and you'd be with 5 or 6 other mechanics, and they're all different businesses, and they all specialize in different things, different age groups, and different years of experience in certain things. So you've got quite a diverse workshop. Quite a strong workshop. Mm-hmm. So, the bloke across from you might have, experience in auto electrics. The bloke up next to him might specialize in, engine rebuilds, old Ford V8s and things like that. But, the bread and butter remains the same. You can all spin filters and do servicing and repairs, but you all have that very strong, ability to just handball different jobs and different questions to one another. So you're never going to really be, on your own. It's still going to function like a workshop, and we're still going to help one another, because for me, that's what it's about. Collaborating with other businesses instead of competing with one another.
So it's not just like a mechanic would come here and they have their bay, and it's just like,
no,
they're secluded, and you want to have that open feel.
Exactly. I mean, Open Hoist, it's for that for a reason. The one thing that I really have to make sure when I actually do start, bringing mechanics in is that they aren't that type of person where they have a negative view on everyone and say, no, that person's my competitor, that person's taking my work, and blah, 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 because that shit's not going to fly. It's not going to be, I don't care how talented you are. If you have that kind of mentality where, no, this is all mine, then it's not going to work here. Because first of all, it goes against everything that I'm trying to teach. The whole reason why that mentality is what got this fucking trade into this problem, into this mess, where it's the greed and the overcharging that leads to that. But, if you were to come here, you would work like any other mechanic, like you normally would. You'd bring your own clientele or not. You'd have customers that are coming in, that through my advertising, and you'd be functioning like you were at any other workshop. It's exactly the same.
As you said there, you're going to advertise on. Is it on behalf of the whole shop? So is it going to be like hey, we have mechanics here ready to go.
Yep.
Come in, bring your car, and then if a mechanic maybe is keen to work here, but they don't have people or clients they bring with them, you can kind of be like, hey, we've got these open jobs for you. What do you want?
Exactly.
That's the kind of thing you're going for?
That's exactly it. So like the whole point of it, there's actually two things I wanted to talk about where I've kind of got this slogan at the moment where it's like, don't let your mechanic cheat on you, cheat on them first, where you kind of want to don't go to your usual mechanic, come here so you can say, no, I took it here instead and got a better service and a better deal.
Nice.
That's kind of like the whole shtick that I'm going for. And it's kind of like a bit of a fuck you to the dealerships and those workshops that think that they're, too good. And look, I'm not trying to cause competition or anything like that, but it's just, I want to give customers an option, people a choice, where I don't want to strong arm anyone. And I'm trying to make it appeal as if it's a more of a fun, inviting place. But other than that, I'm trying to remember the point I was trying to make. There was one that I was, what was it? There was something else. Oh, I'd forgotten. Anyway, but it'll come back to me or not. But that was kind of like the whole shtick about it. And I feel like too many customers kind of go to their mechanics as usual because they don't have a choice, or they feel like they're just, that's the only one that I know. So they end up going.
Or everything else just doesn't seem appealing, as you say.
True.
Because it's I work on my own car, so it's hard for me to relate, I guess, in this respect. But I feel like from my friends that go to places to get their car serviced or wherever it is, when they venture outside of their dealership, whatever their make of their car is, it can be intimidating because they don't really know, and they don't. Again, I could be wrong, but often it feels like they don't they don't get that sense of trust. They don't get to speak to the workshop controller or whoever's in charge of everything and be able to have that relationship. It's more like you got a car, just bring it in, whatever. Yeah. Sounds like you are trying to first and foremost connect with the customer and try and reassure them, try and show them you guys have got that kind of old school trust.
I'm trying to bring the trust back. That was the number one thing, because
and that's what it used to be like. Dad was a mechanic. He's like, the way I built my business was I just didn't stinge people. I didn't rip them off. I just did the job right and just did it right the first time, and they just keep coming back.
Exactly, because again, you don't have to convince them that I'm a good guy, you got to come to me. Your work will speak for itself. It's the care, it's the interactions, it's the relationship you have between, them as the customer. Because back in the day, the boss was on the floor, it was like they were there, you saw them. They didn't just hide in offices and sit behind computers, which I guess business has changed, yes, but it doesn't mean that the morals and everything else has to change with it. I wanted to bring back that old school look, that old school style where you knew your mechanic, the owner, by name. You knew the bloke who worked on your car by name. You say, it was Frank or Tony or whatever it was back in the day. You knew him. And that's what I'm trying to do. And the whole point of this is that you're not supposed to stay at Open Hoist. You're not supposed to stay here permanently. I don't want blokes that are here for 2-3 years that have become part of the furniture. That's not what I want. I'm not here for lack of a better way, slave drivers, but it's like, I'm trying to find ambition, those ones that, may be down on their luck or haven't really ever had the opportunity to go on their own before. And this is kind of like, solo light edition where you can try it and see, if it suits you, because some people just don't know. Everyone thinks that they're a boss. Everyone thinks that they can run their own businesses. And that's, I love that. But when that situation actually comes, when you're actually trying to run your own business and you realize that, there's a lot to manage.
But that was the next thing I was going to bring up. Speaking of ambition and jumping right into the deep end, how's it been the last couple of months, man?
You know what? Look, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to lie and say that I haven't had freakouts and going like, what the fuck am I doing? You know, as you see these bills come in and then all these numbers start climbing. But all things considered, besides the odd meltdown here and there, it's, I still get up at the same time every day, and I'm still here as early as I can, and I work here as much as I can, for as long as I can, just because I want to see this through. There's no way that I'm gonna, regardless of what, the moment I invested in this, I wasn't gonna stop. There was no way that I was gonna say, no, fuck it, too hard. Because that's just not how I am, especially when I lock in on something like this, where it's going to haunt me if I don't do it.
My opinion with anything in business is it's just about surviving, especially at the start. A lot of people seem to think that you got to be really smart, or you have to have some sort of edge, or you got to have some sort of contact or whatever. I've now been in the business world now for 3/4 of a decade. And the people that I've seen get there and have a successful, thriving business are the ones that just kept showing up. They just kept trying. Because eventually, if there's something you haven't figured out, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
If there's something else you need to improve or whatever it is, you just got to get up every day, come here and keep going. And as you said, it just kind of happens. One day you just, it's probably already happened here. You've probably just turned up, like now you've freshly painted things. You probably just come to the shop and go, look that's what we've created.
That's exactly it. Only until like maybe 2 days ago, I had a mate come visit me fairly late, and he was just like, you know what, I just want to come past, have a chat, and just have a drink or whatever. So sitting around the table, and I was just giving him the tour, and it was one of those moments where I could kind of just relax for a sec, and I really did start to kind of appreciate everything, because when you're fucking staring at it, every day, it looks like nothing is changing, or like, you get used to something, how it looks when it's done. You're like, oh, it could be better. I could have done this instead. But you start to really pick at yourself. But it was nice, sitting on the couch in the front, in the waiting room, and I'm just like, fuck. Had the neon light set up, and it was just nice. Had the heater going, all toasty warm, glass of scotch. It was good. And I was like, I'm glad, I'm proud. I'm proud of myself. I could finally say that I'm proud of myself for what I've done. And, and like, it's not just me, it's like my dad has been helping me so much. Like, I couldn't have done it without him. I think, I can do it myself, and I'll just piss in the wind. And I'll just piss in the wind to eventually, find a tree if the wind blows the right direction. But there's so many things that, like, there's just no way that I could have done, and I say it all the time, like on my Instagram and things like that. When it comes to anything, woodwork, framing, he can do everything but framing and woodwork, and that's where it shines. This table, like he did himself, and just the office he designed himself, and it's just, yeah. There's no way that I had a vision in my head, and it was exactly how it came out, thanks to him.
I have to say, what yourself and your dad and mum and everybody here is really, you've produced. I guess vibe is maybe the word.
I mean, that's what I
might not be exactly the right word, but like when I come in here, when I first entered this building, which was just a grey building when it started, when I entered here, just the old school feel with some modernisation in the places that make sense, like the customer experience, where you meet and get the data and all the things and take all that. That's all modernised, which is how it should be. But I do like the old school feel. What do you call those things that collect the oil when you're draining? Is there a special name just for those draining tanks?
Oil drainer.
The old school look that you've got there, the incandescent globes that we spoke about there.
No downlights allowed.
The smell of cigarettes in here. The scotch that's here.
Scotch, cigarettes and oil. Yeah.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
And I think it's an important part that a lot of other shops maybe overlook, or if they are kind of a modern shop, they just kind of go with the like black and white.
Yeah,
I mean?
a monument. Yeah, monument and downlights. It's just, I get it. And I say it a lot when we were building this place, but it's like when you have this kind of like old school patina style, you can just fucking do whatever you want. You got a rusty spanner that you broke in your toolbox like 6 years ago, fucking just turn it into a handle. Who gives a shit? Someone's gonna look at me like, that's fucking cool. Yeah. But you couldn't do that at some ultra modern fucking, C-channel lighting and LED automation system. You can't do that. You can't, everything has to be fucking perfect or it looks bad.
Well, it's kind of, we said this before, it's the like hospital vibe.
Exactly.
Everything's just kind of like bright
static,
fluoro, white,
harsh.
static. And like, I guess it has that ultra clean feel or whatever. But you're working on cars.
Yeah.
Cars are not ultra clean. And,
No, they're not.
you know?
They're not. It's not like we're working on like Lamborghini Huracans or like, you
But
know.
even then, like, cars are always a bit grimy. They're a bit, dirty, you know, a bit grungy.
Exactly. You know, and especially like the cars that I like, you know, I'm not really the biggest fan of modern vehicles to say the least, but I just feel like like cars in general just kind of lost their soul, you know, as technology gets more advanced. It's not like, for me, the glory days of cars was between the 60s and 70s. Even the 80s, there was some fucking, I don't know what the fuck they were smoking in the 80s, but there was some incredible,
Lots of
you know,
stuff.
Group B rally, like that shit's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
That shit would never fly. I mean, it got banned in the 80s, so you can imagine how crazy it would have been.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just, ever since then, it's like everything's just super over-engineered and overcomplicated. And, you know, like cars these days, even oils, like you use oil that is so thin you could put it in a fucking sewing machine.
Yeah.
You know, you could use it as massage oil. You know, it doesn't, you know, oil is, you know, old cars, as long as there's oil in it, we're all good. That thing doesn't give a fuck.
Well, yeah.
I don't even know if there's oil in it.
I mean, the clearances are a little different. Compared to this, of
that's
course.
my point.
But
That's
yeah.
my point. It's like, that was built to last. Everything else these days is just built to exist currently and then throw out. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. It's
all just fucking stock, you know, stockholder, you know, income. It's all it comes down to, just politics. It's just
money.
income politics. That's it.
And the frustrating thing I've like, even working on, like, the missus got a Mazda CX-5. If we were to replace like one small component of something, say for example, it's just like the headlight shatters or something like that, it's not necessarily a globe change. It's like the whole unit.
Yeah,
which
you
is
gotta
like
change it.
$800.
Yeah. The whole piece. Because again, it's like we used to break a glass, just change the glass.
Yeah.
You know, you break the bezel, change the bezel.
It's just, it seems to be the way that, my theory is that because companies like Tesla electric cars are coming about, companies are pushing for trying to gain some of their profits back through servicing.
Without a doubt.
But because it costs money to obviously pay people to service it, they pulled that back a little bit, which is obviously shit. But they've obviously pumped up the pricing in all their other aspects and made it hard to service little bits and pieces. So you have to buy the entire assembly.
Absolutely.
Which has just led to all this frustration for people working on cars and for customers and consumers as well.
Can't touch, avoids warranty.
And,
you know,
and also, I think it wraps into that trust aspect we were talking about before, where, you know, if I didn't know about cars and I smashed my headlight and I went to the mechanic and they're like, it's going to be $800, somebody who doesn't understand cars and the new cars and whatever, they're just going to think, this mechanic's ripping me off. What the fuck is this?
Well, that's exactly. And you know, it's actually something else that I like, exactly this point where, you know, if something breaks, let's just say your toilet, you know, your toilet stops flushing, you know, but you've got two toilets. You say, oh yeah, well, you call your plumber and say, hey, oh yeah, by the way, my toilet stopped flushing. He's just going to say, oh yeah, I'll come tomorrow. Just don't use the toilet.
Yeah.
And you say, yep, no problem. Hang the phone up. But all of a sudden, if, you know, you take your car in for a service and I say, hey, by the way, you're pissing out oil everywhere.
Yeah.
You
Just
know,
unplug it.
yeah. You're pissing oil out everywhere. It has to stay over for parts. It's going to cost you this much. They're going to fucking lose their minds.
Yeah.
It happened to me directly where, oh, what do you mean? I've got to take the kids to soccer and fucking go here and whatever. It's like, yeah, but, you know, if you haven't serviced your car in 2 years, you know, like this isn't maintenance. This is just negligence. And like, you know, just, you know, you're not taking care of the thing that gets you to work. And I just think a lot of people just take that for granted, where I know that people don't trust mechanics in general. And you know what? I get it. You know, like it's really bad to the point where some people don't know better, where the mechanic will say it's going to cost this much. And they just, again, in dealerships, they just say, yep, no worries. That's what it costs.
Yep.
But if all of a sudden I say, you know, at Open Hoist, say it's going to cost the same amount, you're questioning why and trying to work out why it costs the same amount. If I was to wear that, your dealership uniform, does that make me more accredited than I am now? You know, if a guy works at Toyota and says, if a guy at Toyota says, oh yeah, it's going to cost this much, and then the same guy goes to an independent workshop, does that discredit him? It doesn't really change anything. It's just a uniform. The knowledge hasn't changed. But for some reason, it's like people are willing to trust dealerships, but not mechanics, like independent mechanic shops. And
It's funny, right? Because it's like, you know, oh, I'm going to go to the Mazda dealership because Mazda understands my car so much better.
I get it.
But like, mechanics are working on very much the same. Again, as you said, people who don't understand cars, it's a bit of a
Absolutely. You
thing,
think I'm going
isn't
to
it?
take to the person who made it.
Yeah,
Fine.
yeah.
You know, but this is kind of the thing where going back to what you said about, you know, them working on like a certain type of car. It's, you know, this is and like the manufacturer trying to get their profits back. This is the reason why they were offering 7-year fixed price servicing. You know, it's like, of course, pretty much I have to wait 7 years before I can take my car to somewhere else, or have the liberty of taking my like that car somewhere, or letting someone else touch it. You know, and what I always find hilarious is that when a car goes in for its first service, you know, when you buy it brand new off the dealership, you know, 20% of its value gone instantly. When it goes for that first service, it has all these other things that need to be changed. You know, I get the oil fine; it's still running in or whatever. But why the fuck are you changing? You know, why are you inspecting spark plugs, and why the certain things have to change? The thing's fucking brand new. You know, do you, and this is the thing, is like, I know like that they're not actually doing half the shit that's on that list. Like it says, you know, 10,000 Ks, the next service, it'll say, you know, air filter. They're not fucking changing it. They're not, because it doesn't need to be changed. Unless you're driving, they're going to take one look at it, hold it up to the light and go, yep, all good, put it back in there, and then just not going to change it. It's just, why would you? And
well, that's what I was about to say.
That's the
At
thing.
the same time, like for people driving around town here and not driving in the middle of a dusty area.
Yes.
That was how services used to go back in the 80s or whenever it was. Take the air filter out, maybe blow it out with compressed air.
Exactly.
Unless it's full of shit.
Unless it needs to be done, you don't change it. If it's not broken, don't change it. Like, don't fix it. You know, it's just, you know, change your air filter because it says to change your air filter. You know, oh, okay, we'll have to change it. But again, this is before the times of you know, set price or set service records. Usually, it used to be like, you know, at 100,000, you need this. It used to just be kind of be spitball numbers. But this is also back when mechanics used to set and adjust, do tune-ups.
Sure.
You know,
yeah.
this is during the days of tune-ups where you actually had to do like point adjustments on your points and reset your carbies for the colder weather and shit like that. That's what it was. That was a tune-up.
Yeah.
You don't tune up modern cars. It is a myth.
There's nothing to
If
choose.
you, what the fuck? That car knows.
Computer's doing everything.
That
Like
car
this.
knows more about itself than you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's like, what are you tuning up?
Yeah.
It's, I don't know, like that word tune up. It's, you just give it a couple of revs, you know, clean the air filter out, scrub the spark plugs, and throw fucking things back in and tune up.
There you go.
It's just, yeah.
A little bit of a pivot here. I wanted to talk to you about young kids getting into the game.
Yeah.
Because yourself, you went through being a mechanic for a little while. You had a little bit of a side venture, and then you've kind of come back into the industry, and you've, quote unquote, escaped the matrix. You know, you running your own
that old
shop.
chestnut.
What I found, not what I found, what I've, I guess, seen is that, or what I feel rather, is that places kind of make it hard for people to get into the industry and then take that step. Take that step to running their own shop.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad because, you know, places like Open Hoist are going to employ people or have that running. They're going to have people, well, get more jobs in the whole industry and all that sort of thing. And when we first chatted, you were like, dude, I'm like all 4 people coming here, building up their thing and then going, see ya, man, I'm going to go open. That was kind of like one of the things.
Yeah.
Pardon me. One of the reasons why
Absolutely.
you started this whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk about that because I think that's a really cool thing that you're doing. Because I'm in kind of, I guess, the quote unquote entrepreneurial space.
Absolutely.
I really, really like that you're doing that and really trying to encourage people to get in there and say, hey man, I don't want you to work here for 20 years. I want you to find your feet, get some clients and open your own shop.
Because the thing is like, and again, you'd see it too, is that the younger generation of like, you know, like creators and whatnot, they've grown up in a situation where everyone online is an entrepreneur and a millionaire and they're making 6-figure weeks and shit like that. So they all have that drive in them where I'm going to do it on my own and I'm going to run my own business and I'm going to do this, but I love that. I love that because that kind of ambition and that kind of, influence didn't exist when I was starting. It was one of those things that I developed later when I realized that I can choose my own venture. I can choose my own destiny, So these young kids that are kind of going in like, I want to own my own shop or do this, they have that ability to think of their end goal. It's not just like, I'm going to sit here, find a nice job and, sit cozy until I retire or my body breaks, doing the same fucking thing day in, day out. Bitch about it and complain about it, but you still get there same day, every day, So what I'm trying to do is I want to bring that ambition that these younger, apprentices or even like younger mechanics have, hone that skill into almost like beyond a razor's edge, because the apprentices that will be coming through this shop, you can imagine where you've got 6 different mechanics. Next month it's 6 different mechanics. The month after that it's again, the fucking talent that these kids, these apprentices will have by their 3rd year, they will fucking run rings around a mechanic my age now. It's just, it's not even, because again, the way that they learn, it's very different, but that's what I'm trying to do. I want to make a new generation of apprentices, of mechanics that actually know fucking everything. When there's a problem, they know, they learnt, for 2 months, they learnt, ECU diag, or the next month after that, they learnt how to put transmissions back together, like old school transmissions. The time after that, they learnt how to do, suspension adjustments and camber adjustments and tuning and things like that. Having such a wide, broad knowledge is so important because cars are getting more complex. And that old information that is, beyond me and past, like well before me, it's slowly dying and it's slowly being lost because there's no one to carry that flame. There's no one to carry that knowledge anymore. They're all, retired or 6 feet under. It's when that generation passes, who the fuck's going to know about that thing? The Effie, who the fuck's going to know how to tune a carby? No one. You give someone who's, even like before 25, a timing light, they're not going to know how to fuck to use it.
Yeah. And
it's sad. It's not that it's sad. They don't know better because there's no one to tell them otherwise. They all went to dealerships and they learned how to work on one fucking manufacturer, or they found a shop that treats them like shit or takes them for a joke or just use them as slaves, And there's a fucking... It really pisses me off because apprentices aren't there to be your fucking lackeys. They're not there to be your shit kickers. They're there to carry your fucking trade when you're dead and buried. They're there to carry all the information that you teach them. So if you treat them with respect, they're going to respect the trade and carry that torch. But if you treat them like shit, they're going to fucking run. They're going to look for greener pastures and they will fucking find them. That's what pisses me off. And it really does fire me up because ever since I started this, I just get DMs and DMs from apprentices going, hey, I'd love to work with you. I'd love to work with you. It's like, but I can't do it yet. I want to, but I can't. For the time being, it's like, look, just tough it out. I know it sucks. I want to have you all. And this is the reason why this fucking business is here. So for you to go on your own, learn the trade, learn to operate on your own, carry that ambition through and start your own fucking business. This trade needs help. And it needs a new option. It's not just, I'm going to work for someone, eventually have enough money to go on my own and then pray that my workshop works. And then the fucking cycle continues. No. I'm trying to teach them that there is a second option. There is another option. You don't need to become part of the furniture. You don't need to work with some fucking boss that treats you like shit and underpays you. If you leave your fucking boss and you're a good mechanic, he's fucking burning because he needs you. The customers want you to work on that car. They don't want the boss. The boss is there for the pretty face and the transaction. But they know that, oh yeah, I've got my best guy. Yeah, he's looking at it for you. That's who they're going for. And if he leaves, what does your shop have?
Yeah.
You just got to find another mechanic and pray that he's just as good.
And then in that time when you're finding a new mechanic, you've got to deal with somebody who's, or retrain them up or whatever. They're making mistakes.
And it becomes one of those things where you just got to, it's trial and error. Like you have to find a new mechanic. Yeah, he's good. And then he fucks up some stupid job, costs you some big money, lose, I guess not stature, but you lose that influence that, oh yeah, this is a good shop and your name is tarnished.
Yeah.
Now it's the mechanic. I'm trying to say that the mechanic has more power than the fucking boss. And this is exactly what it is. I'm no fucking different than any of the blokes that are going to be working here. I shit and piss just like anyone else. I'm not going to sit there and direct and say, you need to do this, you need to do that. Oh boys, we got 10 cars today, blah, blah. No, not at all. Because you're the one that's turning the spanners. You're the one that's fixing the fucking problems. It's your responsibility and you deserve to be paid for the fucking work that you do. Because it's you that does it, not the fucking boss.
I can really feel the passion.
You have no idea how much it pisses me off because it's just, like there was a saying, I don't know if you probably remember it, without trucks, Australia stops.
Yes.
Very famous quote. It was one of those things where, and you know what, truckies, they got a fucking hard job. Absolutely. I couldn't be up 18 hours, 22 hours driving interstate. No. Absolutely not. But someone's got to do it. At the same time, what happens if mechanics stop to work on those trucks? Then what happens? The whole fucking, again, and I said this many times to just in passing comments and conversations, Australia does not have the infrastructure to support a carless city. It cannot survive without cars. As much as it wants to go green, as much as it wants to go, oh, we're building a new fucking tunnel that's cost us $1 bajillion, what's it going to achieve besides a city loop? Unless you live in the inner city, which most of us fucking don't because we can't afford it. Most of us live out in the suburbs and venture to work with our cars.
I totally agree with you. And to be honest, my opinions kind of changed. When I was younger, I used to be like, we can just skip more trains. We can just do more things. And when I used to work at a 9 to 5 kind of thing, and I used to just go to the same thing every single day.
It makes sense.
It makes sense.
Correct.
But now that I run a business, dude, I need my car.
How are you going to bring your
How am I going to bring all this gear? How am I going to go to places? How am I going to go quote things? How am I going to go pick up things? How am I going to carry, I need the car.
Absolutely. It's one of those things where you absolutely need because people underestimate.
Let me pour you another drink, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I was actually just looking for my water bottle. People underestimate the importance of vehicles just in general. And it's one of those things you take for granted.
I'm assuming you're going to want some more Macedonian.
Please do. Please do. Just got to wet the whistle. I'm overly passionate about this and it fucking pisses me off. Just like off the road, this one cunt commented on my posts, get the apprentice to do it. And I fucking ripped him a new one. Seriously. I'm like, mate, apprentices aren't fucking slaves. They're supposed to be taught. You don't just think if you can't be fucked doing something, you let the apprentice do it. What a fucking joke. And it's what I mean. This is what I mean. It's always the older blokes. You know the types, the fucking profiles, and it's like a close-up of them in sunnies. You know the fucking type. They're always the same. They're the ones that are fucking it for everyone. They bring that old school, when I was an apprentice, they treated me like shit and blah, blah, blah. So what? You're going to repeat the sins of our fathers? You're going to repeat all the mistakes that we all made that to you? It's what? You hit your kids, your dad hit you, so you get to hit them. It doesn't work that fucking way.
I've never understood it.
It's fucking stupid.
Sorry, go on.
No, please.
I was about to say, when I first got into being Mr. Entrepreneur, I had to pay the bills somehow. And one of my friends kindly let me, I was essentially an apprentice sparky. I was like a security technician or something. I can't remember the exact role. But essentially I was a sparky. Like I had hands-on experience doing whatever I did at home and stuff with dad, like doing handyman stuff, but I hadn't actually done the trade.
Yeah.
When I got in there, the boys were welcoming.
Yeah.
They showed me, they educated me. There was some piss taking, but it's not shitting on me. No. It was never like, it was always encouraging and joking about stuff like that.
There's a difference.
And I worked there for 18 months, casually taking a few shifts here and there just to cover the bills. And man, I learned so much. I speak highly of the company when other people ask me about it. I just don't have anything bad to say, and I had a good experience.
That's good.
And like I said,
that makes you one of the lucky ones.
But it makes me like
you're one of the lucky ones.
I agree, but just like I don't understand why, and even sometimes the boss of like some sort of trading company or whatever, right? Even the boss is like taking the piss with apprentices. And in my head, I'm like, these are the people that are helping you make money. Like, make a joke, whatever, but don't shit on them, and
Absolutely.
don't slave drive them. Don't make them go to Bunnings and do the old left-handed screwdriver, whatever, right? Maybe one joke here and there, but like actually making them do stuff like that, it's just like, why they're not gonna be the type of person.
They're the lifeblood of the trade.
Exactly. They have the vibrance. They have they're young. They have the energy. Why sap that away from them?
Absolutely.
Why not encourage them and then turn them into the person like, hey boss, I've almost finished this job. Can I do 2 hours overtime so that we can move on to the next job tomorrow? You're gonna be like, yes, of course.
Yeah, fuck man, you'd be my guest.
Like,
be my guest.
That's who you want to
look at the same time. You can't say, look, and like this is a big one too, is that you can't assume that every single person that comes in is going to have the same ambition. This is the thing.
That's right. That's
right.
True.
You can't assume that every single apprentice is going to have it. But if you are knowledgeable and you've been in the trade for a while, you can see when someone is cluey. You can see, you can tell, just because, you know, the way they carry themselves, the eagerness to learn, the questions they ask. You know, when I was an apprentice, I was told there's no such thing as a dumb question, because when you were qualified, every question is dumb. Right? That's what my boss told me, you know, and he's fucking right. You know, you ask all your questions when you're learning, so you don't ask any later, you know? And he had that kind of fix it or fuck it mentality. I don't know if you've heard it before, but you either fix something, you fuck it, and if it breaks, you fix it again, and then you fuck it again, and then you fix it again. And then one day it breaks, you fix it, and it never breaks again. That's when you've learned something. That's when you know that what you've done is the correct way to do something. And, you know, I lived my entire life with that kind of mentality, you know. When I was, he was a good bloke. Tony his name was Tony. We called him Tots, Tater Tot. He's a fucking legend, you know. He's a really, really good boss, and he had a lot of patience with me, you know. He saw something in me that obviously I didn't see at the time, but, you know, like, you know, I owe a lot to him, and without him kind of encouraging me and pushing me, and even, you know, in a way, kind of, you know, I wouldn't say fathering me, but coaching me.
Sure.
You know, as a way to kind of manage things and how I would handle situations and how I would look at things and perspectives. That was where he really helped me. And as I got older, only then did I realize, you know, how important a role he played in this. You know, without my old boss, Tony, there's no fucking way that I would have ever thought that this is what I wanted to do. And it's just things that I carried on in other trades or other businesses. You either fix something or you fuck it. It's the easiest way to look at something. You know, is it something that you've done, or is it something that's out of your control? You know, and if it's something that you've done, you fucking fix it. And if it's something out of your control, you still fix it. You haven't got a fucking choice.
Isn't it funny how much of a positive impact somebody like that can have
on
your life and your decisions?
He was a top fucking bloke. He's a top bloke. He's a top bloke. I'm yet to tell him about the whole bit. He knows about the business, but I don't think he understands how far on I am. So I got to give him a call sometime soon and let him know. Hopefully you get to meet him. He's a fucking top bloke.
I'd love to, man.
Tony, great guy.
You have dipped your fingers into blue collar work.
Yes.
But you've also dipped your fingers, dipped your toes, dipped your toes, fingers.
Yeah, your toe first.
That's a bit,
toe first.
Bit gross. Anyway, you've also ventured into social media worlds and probably a bit more white collar than that. Do you miss it?
Not white collar. Absolutely fucking not. That shit is.
Is it? Hang on. Was it the social media industry you didn't like, or was it just like politics?
No. The social media side I love. The social media side I really enjoy. What I don't like is the lying and the boasting and the fucking. Look, I'm all for being eccentric because I feel like I'm quite eccentric in ways, but it's more like everyone is successful. Everyone that you see is a fucking multi-billion. It's honestly, it's someone. Look, I lived in Bali for a long time. I lived in Bali for nearly a year. Right?
Did you?
Yeah. So before this, pretty much before this, I was in Rio for a bit. But this is kind of, I was already at the time. It was kind of like in my last trip before I started Open Hoist. But I lived in Bali for a long time, and I met and saw and got to know a lot of these millionaires that you see, or all these, you know, entrepreneurs
digital
that are
nomad.
Digital nomad. Exactly. You know the type.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they walk everywhere because they can't afford bikes. They're all in one massive fucking villa with like 12 houses and they're all living on Megarang. And they all just have a content room and they all just collectively put their digital money together to have one thing and then all shoot the same content. You know, for example, in Bali, the whole Sunset Beach bike ride thing, I'm sure you've seen it. It was really big a couple of years ago. They all do it and say, oh, this is because of my life and my decisions. And look, I get it. Good on you for going on your own. But why the fuck are you lying? Like, why are you pretending? And that part of the social media world, I don't miss.
Yeah.
You know, I don't miss. And how I am just is I call it how it is. And what you see is what you get. And that's kind of why I think it's refreshing to a lot of people. And it's not by design. It's just how I am. And I'm not going to fucking lie to you.
Dude, if I'm honest, when I first saw the Open Hoist post, one of your very early posts, I'm like, who is this cunt? I remember his face. But that breath of fresh air of you just
felt
being
it, like it's kind of like,
yeah, I was just like, okay, this is different. This is not just like somebody trying to spin something. And that's why I came in. I'm like, having seen Daniel, for people who don't know, we went to high school together.
We did, yeah.
We went on very different paths.
Yes,
we've kind of come back here.
Just converged. It's funny how life works.
Come back together. But it's just not common on social media these days.
Especially Instagram. See, TikTok is a little bit more like, you know, gung-ho with things, yeah.
Oh, you're younger than me. I'm too old for TikTok.
Oh, come on. You're not an old man. He's talking like he's fucking 50 years older than me, bro. Older generation. He's 2 years older than me, by the way.
Is it 2 years?
It's 2 years, bro. You're 2 years above me.
When did you?
I'm 94.
Oh, 91. 3 years, bro.
3 years. Then I was a youngin'. All right? My mum wanted me to start early, right? All right. Fucking, I was 2011, I grad.
Oh, yeah, it's 2009.
There you go. So 2 years. Say 2 years. But it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, fucking, I couldn't handle the fucking. I've lost my train of thought. Sorry, what was it?
Just the lies on social.
Oh
media.
yes. I couldn't handle it anymore, and it was just like, you know, I'm just gonna piss in the wind, and that has become the fucking moral, the whole kind of message that I'm saying.
Paint that at the front of the shop, bro.
Honestly,
I'm just pissing
in the wind. Seriously, I couldn't weld. I mean, I could weld, but I couldn't reliably weld. You know, I can cut wood, but I couldn't reliably make it straight. You know, I couldn't build much, but I knew enough, but I didn't realize how little I did actually know of like functional information and abilities. But I never once doubted myself and said, you know what, I can't do it. You know, like I can't do it. Like I remember having this conversation with my dad where it's like, again, the budget for this place has played a really big role of just how much of an input I've had and abilities things that I've learned along the way, because my time is free. Well, kind of, but my time is free. Someone else's time is worth fucking money,
sure.
Especially if they're a specialist. You know, like getting a welder in, it's an hourly rate or a day rate, and then they have to come to you, set up the bottles and blah, 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 set up the MIG, yada, yada, yada. And then they're going to charge you per job, or they're going to charge you per hour or for the whole day. And that shit can be $1,000 a day,
yeah,
plus easily, because again, that's what they do. They have to make it worth their while. And $1,000 a day isn't something that I could fucking do. I can't afford that. But what I can do is I had a MIG, I had a welder, and I had a lot of fucking time and a lot of spare sheet metal that I could learn on, you know? So it started with something small, like, oh, I'm going to stick these two pieces together as a small kind of job and this, that. And it got to the point where now all the container doors are all welded by me. The mechanisms are welded by me. A fucking cage back there is welded by me. All that stuff is, you know, all by me, only because I just had no fucking choice.
Yeah.
You know? And that was the best way for me to learn. I had no choice, and it was either get someone to do it, which I sure as fuck wasn't going to pay for because I couldn't.
Also, probably because of like the inner wogness was just like...
Yeah, that's it, exactly. I'm a wog at heart. It's like, don't worry, let's just start. I got it. You know, leave it to me. No problem.
Let me fuck it up.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'll fix it. Oh, fuck it. Well, what's worse that happens? I burn a hole in it, or I put metal where the hole is.
Yeah.
You know, you give me a chance, you know, to prove myself. But I remember my dad was really kind of like, when it came to the welding, he's like, oh, you don't know how to weld. You don't know how to weld. I'm like, yeah, but I'm going to fucking learn. You know, okay, I'm not going to be one of those things where I immediately pick it up and think, I'm going to be a gun at it, and I'm not, and then just get upset. It's like, nah, man. It's fucking welding. It's not easy to do. It's not like something that everyone can do. There's so many different things, and penetration and then diffusion, and make sure that it actually bonds to the metal and is the temperature right and the wire speed. They're all things that now I'm able to look at something do a test weld and say, no, that doesn't work. It needs more heat. And I can work that out simply because I pissed in the wind.
Yeah.
And then I hit a tree and I learnt that's where I need to piss, you know, and it makes sense to me. So, and that's with everything, you know, painting and fucking, you know, like, you know, rough-ins and framing and cutting, you know, I never needed to buy a circular saw, like a fucking battery-powered Makita saw, but now I have one because you know what? Who the fuck else is coming to save me?
Who's going to
When
do
my
it?
dad's not here,
Yeah.
I can't just say, oh, Dad, you know, can you do this for me? And blah, blah, blah. He's not here every day. He's got his own business. He's got his own job. He's got bills to pay. And I get that, you know, so I had to sink or swim. So in a way, like I'm glad that it was this way. And again, because I've taken everyone along and everyone's seen and taken the piss out of me too about, you know, for example, that fucking video of me rolling the paint. Everyone's fucking seen that one. Yes, all right, it was
Is that your biggest?
It actually, but this is the thing, right?
That's social media.
It's so fucking dumb, right?
Because
one of the biggest videos I had was me fucking rolling Dulux Wash and Wear. What the fuck? Yeah, it's this Dulux Wash and Wear, all right? Fucking Bunnings stooged me. I didn't even get a chance to finish my story. Bunnings stooged me, all right? She made me pay for Dulux because it was that was a Dulux color, and she tried to stooge me into say it has to be with a Dulux base, and I'm like, and then my dad's like, hold on, you could just use fucking Taubmans. And I'm like, well, fuck that. I'm going to use this for everything then. And I tried, and I got fucking destroyed for it. Like, fuck, all right, fine. I got lines done professionally now. Jesus Christ, give me a break. Fucking hell.
Oh man.
Oh, well.
I feel you on the pissing in the wind and just trying to. You should have seen the first video I edited. You should have seen the first website I made.
And you look at it now and you go, fuck, what was I thinking, right?
What was I thinking?
Yep.
And even like a few hands-on things like did the renos at my own personal house.
Yeah. How'd they go?
Handyman stuff with dad and all that. When I first started, you just retarded. You just don't know.
Yeah, you don't.
But as you said, you have nothing but time at the start. Your time is not super valuable.
No, not at
especially
all.
when you're young, man.
Yeah,
when you're young,
yeah.
you have so much time. And you just try things. And then eventually you're like, oh, fuck, I figured this out. And then you're like, I'm actually pretty good at this.
How do you think our fucking Kumbaro and all generations did things?
Yeah.
Do you think that someone fucking taught them? Yeah, like it's one of those things where you just have a crack. And that, again, something I'm really for. Just have a fucking crack. Worst thing you do is you fuck it.
Yeah.
Then you fix it again. Thank you, Tony. Then you fix it again. It's just one of those things where everything leads back to fixing it or fucking it. If you want to leave it fucked and say, oh, no, it's too hard, that's your choice. But it takes a different kind of person to go, I'm going to fix it again.
It does.
You know,
It also takes the type of person to kind of be very persistent about it, not just to learn the thing or whatever they're trying to do, but uniquely in your case, you didn't seem to come across too much tall poppy syndrome.
Nah, not at all.
For me, I have a little bit. I think
Really?
that's different because mine is my field, like visual videos. It's very much here it is on a platter. Everyone can see it. Everyone can dissect it. And I think a lot of people in my industry nitpick and say things and scrutinize little bits and pieces because it's very much in your face.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't really give a shit because that's the type of person I am.
Good.
But I was really pleasantly surprised to hear that since you've been posting
too.
about this, people have been rather encouraging about
Honestly, it's been shocking. Like genuinely, when I say the positivity has been overwhelming, I mean it, because it's like, as someone whose job is in social media, right? Like what we were talking about before, you know, for prior to this, it's all you get is people saying, oh, nah, this is bad, or, you know, oh, I would have done this, or why have you done that? Or they just nitpick you as a person, you know, like, why are you pretending to this, or why are you doing that? When in reality, like, I've always kind of been that what I shoot, because I've always been behind the camera. Like yourself, I've always been behind the camera, setting up the shots and things like that. And I know that the context of the situation, but they don't. And that situation that we post is always as legitimate as possible. It's always real, you know, but people don't believe you because they think, oh, it's perfect. But with this situation, I guess because I have like nothing to hide, there's no one to say, oh, this person's lying. Or this person's full of shit. Because like this guy is like, he's got an idea. He's just having a fucking punt. He's doing his best. Who am I to say that he's wrong? And people just got right on board. Yeah. And I could not be, genuinely, I couldn't be happier. Like sometimes like, I don't even get a chance to reply to everyone because I'm just so busy here that the only time I get to reply to things is when I'm sitting in the Macca's car park on the way home at fucking 11 o'clock at night, having a double McChicken, fucking Got to have it. Double meat chicken.
Might get one
Really
tonight.
good. I'm definitely doing the same. And then I send voice messages to people because I'm just like having my burger. I got my burger in one hand and then my phone in the other. And I'm just going, oh, thank you so much for this. Blah, thank you. I love the suggestion, by the way. I'm going to phone that past, blah, blah, blah. That's the only time that it's great. It's been great. It's been great. There's been zero talk. You get the occasional fuckhead.
It always is.
But the thing is, what I love is I don't have to comment. Everyone just fucking dog
I
piles.
noticed that. People just eat.
They just fucking dog
Eat 'em
pile.
alive.
I love it. I love it. It's like, fuck off, cunt. What are you saying, bro? What are you... Oh, I don't have to say a word. I love it. And that's how it should be. It's like, I wouldn't say cult-like, but it does feel in a way where I've got such a loyal kind of... Everyone really does believe in Open Hoist. And I couldn't be more thankful for the people that have supported me because, if this was just me and I was just... again, just doing it on my own. It wasn't even my idea to post. I was just recording things at the start just for memento's sake.
Just
just to say, document, like, this is what I had and this is that. Before I knew it, I had 60 something odd videos. And then my girlfriend was like, hey, why don't you post them? And I'm like, is anyone going to give a fuck? Is anyone going to care? And look, honestly, clearly they do.
Yeah.
Because it was like the moment I started posting, it was just boom. Everyone was just, oh, this guy's onto something. I like what he's doing. Blah, blah, blah. And it was just crazy. Even my girlfriend, who's, she's an influencer and has her own business. Well, we both, have our businesses. She deals with shit constantly, especially being a woman in social media.
It's hard for girls, man. They get absolutely eaten alive.
It's so bad because it's not like men where, where you comment on the person as a whole rather than individual things in the women's world where, oh, I don't like your hair color. It looks bad. Like, oh, your nails look shit. Or you're over 30, so you're like old. I don't want to hear. But blokes
also,
don't get that kind of shit.
But also the other way around. I've seen guys commenting on girls' posts just like, it's so easy to be a girl.
It's fucking depressing,
it's so easy
dude.
to be a girl.
Straight up, like the amount of shit that
doing?
I hear. Like, she sends me screenshots and we just like laugh because it's fucking hysterical.
Yeah.
That's some fucking, again, boomer in sunglasses, face for, the type.
Oh, yeah.
They're the ones, sweaty, balding, gross looking. They're the ones saying you're retired. It's like, bro, you're part of the furniture, bro. You're the same color as my couch. Like, the same texture as my couch. Like, what the fuck are you saying that she's retired?
Yeah.
You're 1 foot in the grave and you're trying to comment on her videos. It just doesn't make sense. Like, but what I've noticed is that women cut deep. They don't go for the, oh, he's a fuckhead, don't listen to him.
Yeah.
Guys don't get, women, they look for something and they will use that fucking weakness. They'll know that it's like, oh, I don't know. It's like, do you think his face looks kind of like puffy? And like, do you drink a lot? Like, that's the kind of comments they'll make. And it kind of goes, fuck, is it really like, do I really look puffy? And it's not like a bloke where it's...
Well, I think it's
very different the way they cut you.
I think that's kind of how girls combat each other.
Yeah,
because like
dude,
guys
it's
sometimes,
gnarly.
not now because we're old and mature, obviously.
Of course.
But when you're younger, man, guys sort things out with fists.
Oh, absolutely.
Girls
fucking
don't.
Absolutely.
Girls don't really have that option.
Especially in McLeod.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like girls don't have that option, so they fight with words.
Yeah,
and they can be real nasty, man. It's kind of a.
It's so sad because there are some times when it's like, what can I say? It's like, I know in my heart of hearts that, like, obviously that's not true, but when someone says it, someone else, I can say a positive thing 100 times and it doesn't ever soak in. But a random person a woman on the internet can make one comment and it will sting you for a long time.
Yeah.
It's amazing, right? It's scary in a way. And it's sad because it's like, I have to say, it's not like that. You don't understand. And then you go on damage control, which again, it's like, of course I'm going to do because, you care about them, but it still doesn't change how much it hurts to hear, It's a double-edged sword, social media. It can be your best friend. Like, I'm blessed, that I have an audience or people that actually support me.
Yeah.
But I could be, someone else when, I just become a laughing stock or just a lolcow and people just start taking the piss out of you.
You definitely need thick skin.
Yeah,
and,
you do. You really, really do.
Like I've been posting now for quite a while, and
How long have you been posting?
I want to say I've been posting in terms of like actually posting with a goal for at least 5 years, 5, 6 years.
Really?
I've basically kind of just like built in public. So the posting that I've done has been like, this is what I've learnt. This is what I did this week. Here's an example of my work. Here's what I'm doing. It's not like a selfie of like, hey, I'm in Bali. I'm in, I'm a successful video, blah, 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 blah. It's always just been building in public. And that's what I've found has worked for me the best. And I think, as you've seen with the results here, building in public, you've just been open and just like, this is what I'm doing. And I think people really want that.
They do.
Because nowadays you just scroll through and it's just garbage.
Perfection,
Hey, blah, blah,
perfection,
top 10
everything's
tips,
perfect.
blah, blah,
Everything's,
blah, blah,
I'm
blah.
the best, 5 ways to do this.
Yeah.
And no one,
No one gives a shit about
no
that.
one fucking cares anymore.
And that's how I stopped on Open Hoist, because I was just doom scrolling.
It's fucking amazing.
And
That's
I doom
fucking
scroll.
incredible. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. And like, and it's not just you that said it. It's kind of just been like, it's even just been like, for example, like I had a Kennard's hire guy drop off some equipment, and he kind of looks at me and he's like, you look familiar. I'm like, please don't say I look like Adrian Portelli. Like, please, because I cop that all the
Bro, you do.
Oh, fuck
It's
off,
ridiculous.
man.
It's ridiculous.
I cop it all the time. Like, people double take me all the time and think that I look like him. But no, he's like, I'm like, don't say that. He's like, no, you look like some other bloke. And I'm like, oh, no, I don't know. Because again, it was only fairly early on. He's like, hold on. He goes, he's looking around. He's like, is this Open Hoist? I'm like, yeah, it is. And he's like, mate, I just finished watching your videos this morning. He goes, when I was having my morning smoke, I fucking watched all of your videos. Good on ya. And I'm just like, what the fuck? He goes, mate, because I'm not even into the automotive world, because I love what you're doing.
Because you're real, man. You're just real.
I don't know. And like, I don't know what it is, but like a mate of mine described it as, he's a very good mate of mine. He described it as like the embodiment of a lot of blokes, like the embodiment of just the average guy, blue collar worker, just keeps it as it is, punches his diaries, eats shit diet, and just kind of just does what he needs to do to get the day done.
But and you post while you're in the trenches.
Yeah,
that's the difference as well. Because as you said, most of social media is polished, and you're only talking about the pretty things and whatever.
Please save me.
Look, there's a time and place for it.
Absolutely.
Like for example, when you have the grand opening, when it's gonna be great. You're gonna have lots of people here, and you post
I'm
about
looking
that.
forward to it.
But you were posting in the trenches. You're like, I fucked this up today. I genuinely fucked this up today. I'm going to Bunnings for the 10th time.
Oh.
And that's what's so relatable.
Yeah, because again, how many times have you gone to Bunnings and say, yeah, I got to do this today? You have your list or in your mental list, because who the fuck takes physical lists? Because even though you should take one.
As
and then
both of us who have ADHD probably should have
man,
this.
It's so bad. And then I leave, and then I'm there, and I go, fuck, halfway through, and I'm like, fuck, I forgot this. And then you got to turn around, go back, pick at the part that you want, come back, and now it's too late because you wasted fucking an extra half an hour going back to Bunny. Yeah. That's the reality, is that a 10-minute job takes 3 hours or even a couple days. But and I'm not shy to say that, this has not been fucking easy. This has been an absolute nightmare. Like I don't sleep at all. I get in bed and I just kind of pass out because of just how tired I am. But I wake up and I just shit the bed every morning. Got this to do, just fly out of bed, take my coffee, fuck off.
But it gets you out of bed in the morning.
Man, I've never been happier to do so, genuinely.
You have the motivation.
Man, I can't stop. Imagine if I just turn around and say, you know what, nah, it's too hard, I'm tired.
And for people with genuine ADHD, you and I have a genuine ADHD.
Oh yeah, I'm medicated. Yeah.
Not the new TikTok like.
Yeah, everyone's unique.
Right.
Everyone thinks they're unique.
Genuine ADHD. If you don't have something that gets you out of bed in the morning, life is fucking shit.
You can watch that shit. You will watch your life fall apart, and you'll be like, you know what? Yeah, it can wait. But every problem you've diagnosed, and you've gone through every single thing that you've done wrong, and you don't give a fuck. That's the problem. There's no dopamine hit that goes, if I do this, I can get myself out of this. You don't fucking care.
Yeah, that's what people
don't care.
People don't understand.
It's debilitating. But again, I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm ADHD, it led to this. Quite literally, the moment I got medicated is the moment that this happened. If I was medicated earlier, would this have happened earlier? Who knows? But I'm not going to deny that being medicated for something that is genuine, it was genuinely causing me an issue, because I can't just have, you know, when my girlfriend and I were operating the business together, I wasn't pulling my weight, and I knew I wasn't, and I couldn't do it.
You can't. That's
I
the thing.
can't.
You can't. Yeah.
I fucking can't. And no matter how many times I explained it to her, it's like, she gets it, she understands, but she'll never. It doesn't change the fact that she's hurt.
Yeah.
That I'm not doing what I should be doing as a business partner. So this is when it led me to this. I'm like, you know what? What brings me joy is this trade. It always pulls me back. The digital world, it's great. I enjoy it, but I don't love it. It's not my end goal. It's not where I want to be. You know, I want to go back to the trade. I'll take the information that I've learned about running my own business, which is the social media one, and try to implement everything that I've learned and bring it into the modern, like a modern idea to an old world, which is exactly what I think this is. You know, the barbershop or the tattoo parlor, you know, and if I didn't get medicated, none of this would have changed. None of it would have, this wouldn't have ever happened. So, you know, do it. What does it take? Yeah, okay, it takes a bit of time to get tested and it costs a bit of money, but if you're genuinely suffering from this, you fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like genuinely just go to your quack, say, hey, you know, I didn't get medicated until I was like 31.
I didn't try any sort of medication until I was just about 30.
Yeah. Fun fact, that's actually when it really hits you, when your brain starts to kind of, not the activity, but it starts to fully mature. And then once that fully matures, you kind of start noticing your own habits and your own shortcomings a lot more than you would have in the past. Well, I thought that this is just how I am. That's just how Daniel is. It wasn't. And it shouldn't have been, because it fucked me up. Genuinely. It fucked me up. And, you know, if I had gotten medicated, like I could have done this earlier. I could have done something. I could have been better with, you know, helping my girlfriend with the business. And I feel really bad, but in a way I didn't know any better. But I'm just glad that I did.
I didn't know any better either. And boy, was it life-changing the first time I tried medication. I will say though, having to learn how to live with ADHD, having to come up with tactics, lists and things like that.
Masking and dopamine ways to do things,
right.
Prone to addictions.
That going through that experience has had it's been debilitating in some ways, but it's had a very positive impact in other ways, because I've learned what is not good for me. I've learned that unless it's something that I enjoy, I'm not going to get up in the morning for it.
You know instantly if you enjoy something.
And I think this is a very important point to make. Medication doesn't just mean you can just do anything. You still have to do something that you like. You still have to do something that you're motivated towards. It's not just like this magic switch, because medication just makes people with ADHD normal. It brings them back to how they are.
Absolutely.
But you need to find that thing. If you don't find that thing, you're not going to do it. I was here at 8 a.m. on a Saturday setting up these lights because I was G'd.
Yeah,
I was like
exactly.
so excited
I could
about
fucking
this.
tell.
I was here, came back today to do this.
Just humming and ahhing, and he's planning things in his head, but you've already planned everything in your head. You're just trying to make that physical. Right. You've already planned it.
And like I thrived off that. And even without medication, I can thrive off that.
Absolutely.
ADHD is, it's a funny one because it is tricky for people to understand if you don't.
Especially if you're neurotypical.
That's right.
The average person doesn't really understand it.
And especially if your partner or somebody is very like highly motivated, they don't even understand.
They think you're.
But on the kind of the other side of the coin, ADHD has meant that I am super detail oriented.
Yes.
It means that I notice other things. It means
meticulous with your. How's your pattern recognition?
I was about to say pattern recognition. Like that was remember doing those like IQ tests and shit in high school? For the things that were like, find the missing thing, this pattern, bro, I would just
smashing it.
And the teacher would be like, are you done? I'm like, yeah, this is just so
it's
easy.
Even like to the point where, how are you with reading people? Are you ever wrong about your judgments?
Very, very wrong.
Exactly.
Very rarely am I wrong.
It's like even with movies, are you always the one to pick the bad guy in the ending?
Generally.
Yeah, and that's exactly the same. Like we're sitting watching a movie with the girlfriend, with the missus, and it's like I'm like, watch that cunt. Watch him. It's like, how the fuck do you know? It's like, no, just trust me.
But then like go do something that you find boring. And as you said, you can't
you can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it.
It's a very weird thing to say to people like you can't do it. It's not like you can't sit up and do it. Yeah. It's just like imagine waking up sleep deprived and underfed and hungover.
Yeah.
take away the headache so you don't feel pain and all that. But think about that motivation that you have to do anything.
Yeah.
That's how most people with real ADHD just wake up every day.
Every day. And it's so funny because I remember when I was a kid, I actually got tested for ADHD. No, this is before it was like ADHD. It was like ADD. It was more just like, because my parents were always like, oh, he's hyperactive, you know, he's disruptive. It was like, you
all
know,
my school reports, distracts everyone.
Needs to pay more attention.
Class clown.
Shows potential, but needs to apply himself. Shows potential, but needs to apply himself. That was the definition of how I was.
It's like they copied and pasted every
Dude, exactly. It was to the point where I got so crafty at like preventing parent-teacher interviews, and my mum still applauds me on this. I actually told the head office, like the counter office, that her number had changed. So changed it to my number. So when they would say that I skipped school or wagged, that my mum would go, yep. My mum would reply and be, yep, he's doing this, and they would approve the absence.
Oh.
Yeah. This is how crafty I got at fucking, because of this. Detail orientated. You know, it's those kind of things.
Using it for the right.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't questionable. I mean, it's harmless now. But at the time I was like, fuck, this is this I'm sly, you know, I'm good. It's just stupid shit that you think of, but yeah, details.
Look, man, final thing that I wanted to sort of ask you about is, where do you see this place in 5 years? Where would you love to see it? What would you love to walk into in 5 years?
I would like to walk into one of many of these. I would like to walk into one of many. Like, I want to go interstate. I want to go regional. Like, the amount of comments and stuff and DMs I get just with people like, fuck, I wish you were in Sydney. I wish you were in Queensland. I fucking wish you were in Adelaide, Perth, whatever, Tasmania. You know, even regional. Like, genuinely, like this is, again, the first time I've been public about it. The moment that this place is in the green, or even slightly in the green, because again, I'm not pulling a salary. Every dollar or every kick up that is from each job doesn't go to me. I don't make a fucking dime. I work like everybody else, and the money that I make is from the jobs that I do. Simple. The shop does. And if the shop makes more money, it means that it can expand and grow and help more mechanics. Because this is what it's about. It's not about me making a dollar. If you can make money and help, that's the fucking dream. That's the ideal ending. I don't want to be the person that I resent. I don't want to be the boss that all the boys are on the tools and all I'm doing is just calling the shots. Eventually, yes, there's going to be a mechanic that does take my place on the floor. Absolutely. But it's for a good reason. I'm going to be planning to go and say, hey boys, I'm looking at, you know, Shepparton or Mornington, Frankston, fucking West Side. It can be East Side, whatever, because I'm going to build another one. You know, I want to build another one of these so more of you boys can start benefiting the way that you are, you know, and that's what I want. What I want in 5 years is I want this to be an option for new blood to come into the trade and say, I want to be an apprentice. I want to get trained at Open Hoist, and I want to fucking learn to be the best mechanic that I can be and be paid for the work that I do, and hopefully bring everything that they've learnt and the I guess not the ideology, and hold that torch and change the trade. I want this trade to fucking shake. I want everything in this fucking trade to change, because it's not the cars that I hate. It's how we fucking carry this trade that I hate. That's I cannot stress it enough. I love it. I do. I love working on cars, but it took me nearly 7 years to pick up a fucking spanner again. And, you know, I built some motors during COVID. I was bored during COVID. I managed to get a car, an AE71 Corolla. I built a motor for it. And I was kind of like, you know what? I like this, you know, like it's refreshing. It's good. And then I built the Ford, the Fairmont. And I'm like, you know, fuck, you know, this is good, you know, but everyone likes working on their own cars. But prior to that, when I was actually on the tools, my car was falling apart. I couldn't give a fuck about my car. If it started up in the morning and it got me to work, that's all I cared about. It could be pissing out coolant. It could be overheating. I don't give a fuck. I don't care, because I hate working on them. But all of a sudden, when you're doing things for yourself, you know, and you're doing things for, you know, money that you're earning for the work that you do, all of a sudden it changes, because doing 10 cars working for a boss, you still get paid fucking, what, 250, 300 a day, if that.
Yeah.
But if I'm doing 10 cars here, you're walking away with fucking 2.5 G's, $2 grand.
Yeah.
We're talking fucking doctor money, beyond doctor money. You know, if a doctor could practice on his own, that's what he'd be taking home.
Yeah.
You know, without having to operate through a hospital. It's the same kind of concept. Tattooists, they take huge amounts of money home per day because it's a craft that takes years and years and years to learn. And this is no different. Is that the knowledge that you need to actually become a good, competent mechanic, it's not something you just pick up. And it's only getting harder for these apprentices too, because they're getting forced to work to dealerships, and then they learn one car like we were talking about, or one type of model, or one generation of car, and then it's warranty jobs that you're doing the same thing day in, day out, and there's all these manuals that tell you how to do it. Where's the mechanical side of things? Where's the diag? Where's the chin scratching where you're sitting at the front with your coffee and your cigarette, you're sitting there, you're pumping your cigarette going, fuck, all right, this is going. And you start calculating and you're working it out. You know, it doesn't exist because they plug in their fucking fancy scan tool that talks to this particular model of car that tells them what the problem is. It's already been diagnosed and sent from head office that this is the problem. There's nothing to it. It's just you're being told what
you're not
told
problem solving anymore.
You're not fucking doing anything. You're just doing what someone tells you to do. There's no problem. There's no problem to solve. It's solved. You're just told what to do. You know, I just want to bring back that actual mechanical side of things. You know, like it's just sad to see that the trade that I love so much is suffering so badly. And it's only worse the further north you get, the further regional you get, the worse it is. You know, like I was told, not even I was told, it happened. So my sister's boyfriend, he drives an i30 as a daily, right? And it's an old one, 2007 or whatever. Anyway, he lives in Bendigo and regional. And he took it into a mechanic shop because his window regulator broke. They charged him $1,000, $1,000 for a window regulator. It's just a ridiculous quote. Anyone who's a mechanic would look at that and be like, what the fuck are they smoking? Are you kidding me? $1,000, and it wasn't a genuine part. It was just a part. And what was the rest? Just slapped on 50% extra for the parts, and then the 200%, and then what? $250 an hour.
Yeah.
$1,000. Like I managed to source the same part myself for $110, and it would have taken it the best part, and I was pissing around 45 minutes. And anyone who's done a modern window regulator knows just how fucking simple they are.
Yeah.
It's bolts. You take the bolts out, you change the whole plate, everything. It's big aluminium sheet, and you put the new one back on, you plug everything back in, and you put the bolts back in, and that's it.
That's it.
I could have said $500, and that was ridiculous, even overcharging for me, and he would have been just fucking ecstatic, you know. But that's the norm there, you know. Even family members and family friends that I have are saying, you know, services cost me $800, $800 for a fucking service on just your average passenger car is just ridiculous. Yeah. But again, it's like these shops that are just keeping up with the Joneses and just forcing themselves to charge more and do more. And it's just, the trade needs help is all I'm trying to say. And I'm trying to be an option. I really want to be an option for mechanics to say, I want to go there. And I know that and I think this is the reason why so many people support Open Hoist is because they understand and they agree. They go, you know what? This bloke's, he's got a good head on his shoulders. You can see in his heart of hearts that he believes in what he's doing. And I genuinely do want to change this trade because it's just fucking shit. As someone who's been there, it's fucking miserable, dude. You know, you fucking work on the same cars inside and out, spin your filters, you do your fucking brakes, your shockers, you do fucking 10 cars a day or whatever it is. You do fucking 30 in total, 25 cars in total, which is a fucking ridiculous amount of cars for a three-person shop, you know, just pumping them out. And you're forced to overcharge. You're forced to fucking slap things on that don't need to be there because some fucking head honcho at, you know, whatever the fuck conglomerate company wants a new yacht or his share needs to be, he just purchased more shares. So now we're pushing for this. And that's the reason why so many people get overcharged. The mechanic's not the one overcharging you. They know what needs to be changed. They're not the one that pulls the trigger, I'm afraid. It's the service advisor. It's the manager because his boss said he needs to. Stay away from these fucking service centers, these looby fucking franchise centers, because they're just forced to just shovel shit down your throat to just meet some fucking KPI. Again, corporate fucking politics.
It is
Once again, ruins everything.
Even in the engineering space where I was involved, a lot of the time, like you can feel this, like cars are not serviceable. Why was this done? Why did this fucking engineer do this? The overwhelming majority of the time, it's not the engineer who made that choice. It's up above who said, we need to do this, you need to do it like this. Because a lot of engineers work on whatever.
Of course, they're all mechanically minded, naturally.
They're mechanically minded. They understand for the most part, you know, if they don't want to make it hard for the person who's replacing it.
Yeah.
But it is really, you know,
corporate politics
coming up from the top.
We have a set budget. This is the square meterage that we've been allocated.
Yeah.
Everything needs to fit. It's like you work on a modern car. It's like, God, anyone who's worked on an Audi or any kind of European fucking anyway, will understand that doing something as simple as a radiator is like a full front end off. Like I've done Mini Coopers in the past where front rad support, fucking just the hot bumpers, guards, the works. Like this car looked semi-stripped. This car looked like it was being torn down at a chop shop, just so we could get to the fucking radiator and transmission cooler.
Outrageous.
You know, motor out. Like I'm talking motor dropped, car comes up, front cradle is just sitting there, and then you can work on the car because you can access the thermostat that's all the way underneath. Like it's designed, I'm convinced in my heart of hearts that it's by fucking design. So you're forced to go, fuck it, take it to the dealership, let those cunts deal with it. You know, and again, them trying to maximize their profits of the money that they've spent on these cars, which is just stupid. It's just greedy. Don't get me started.
Well,
I hate it.
Daniel, today's been a refreshing conversation. Thanks for letting me come into your shop and do this. We're currently in the vault where we're locked away.
It's a secret. No comment. Don't talk about anything that's in here.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Thanks, man. I've had a lot of fun chatting with you. It's been great to learn more about Open Hoist, a bit about yourself as well. Yeah. Where can people find you? Openhoist.com.au?
Yeah, openhoist.com.au. You can find me on Instagram or TikTok, just Open Hoist. Or again, if you see me in the street, just fucking say hi. I'm not going to bite your head off. Like, again, I'm pretty chill.
Pretty approachable.
Pretty approachable. Yeah, you know, I see people at Bunnings or whatever, they're kind of like,
is that him?
Yeah. Is that I know they want to say something, so half the time I just go, hey, what's going on? Like, oh my God, I thought it was you. Fucking, I'm not a celebrity, bro. I'm fucking chill. It's just weird. Like, I'm not like that. And I'll never get used to this thing where people recognize me. But yeah, if you see me,
it's only going to get worse and worse the more you're.
Yeah, I know. Like,
so get used to it.
Oh, look, I'm going to have to. I mean, I got blokes coming from fucking Sydney. There's a guy with like a 57 Chev that was like, you know what? I've been wanting to take this car for a long drive and you're the reason why. I just want to shake your hand and say thank you.
That's awesome.
I'm not, come on. Like, I'm not a messiah. Like, you don't have to do like a pilgrimage to say hello, you know? But look, either way, like, I appreciate the support, any kind of support. Doesn't matter what you do.
Awesome, man.
Thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate your time.
Cool, man. Take care. Thanks, guys.